Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia.
That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
We're going to teabag fight instead.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Welcome, everybody. It's The Session. Another Monday night in beautiful Northern California. And we have some good beer to talk about today. We have Jason Ledford from True Symmetry Brewing in Suisun City, California. Jason, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Now, you were supposed to be on the show, I think it was like March 17th or something like that. You were supposed to come into the studio, and I remember I was talking to you, I believe it was you, like from my porch, from my back, like stoop or whatever, going, look, dude, I'm really sorry, but like this whole COVID, like we can't do the thing anymore. And I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but you cursed at me a few times, and but ultimately you were fine with postponing the show. So I'm glad we could finally get you back on, man.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here. It's been a lot longer than I thought it would be with the COVID situation, but hey, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do, man? Can't do anything about it. Today joining me is Teresa. Welcome back, Teresa. Teresa Passu from Crooked Lane. And then, of course, the wonderful, handsome, big-headed Jamil Zainashev from Heretic Brewing Company.
Hey.
That's the Ukraine version. Yeah.
The Ukraine part of Fairfield.
Yeah, that's right. And I wanted Jamil on mainly because you and Jason, you guys have done a collaboration beer, and I know you guys are good friends and brewing buddies, so I thought that might be fun just to get you on as well and chitter-chatter a little bit about True Symmetry and what's going on in that area, because Suisun City, for those of you who don't know, which was mainly me and Teresa about 4 minutes ago, is really close to Fairfield.
Yeah,
it's Suisun. I describe Suisun as Fairfield's backpack.
Okay. Fanny pack would be good.
Back pocket. Yeah. No, we're our breweries are 10 minutes apart.
Okay. Okay.
If you're flying, I'm just saying.
Nice. Okay. Very good.
You probably take a drunken scooter from one to the other. Yeah.
Been known to happen.
You should just start scooter tours. You know, they have like the beer bus tour, the beer bike where they make you pedal around, which I never really got. Like, why am I going to do this? I'll just walk. Scooters. There you go. Or a craft beer Segway tour.
Yeah.
Craft beer Segways.
We're quite close together. And I think when either one of us is really just sick of being at our brewery, we just go like, I'm going over to True Symmetry and, hang out there and have some beers, and so we tend to spend
works
a lot.
Works out even better for me because I get a cheeseburger at his place. So.
Oh man.
Or we're in our garages because he lives, 3/4 mile tops from me.
Oh wow, you guys are
a few blocks away.
Damn. We're gonna get into Jason's beer in a second, but Jamil, I wanted to mainly have you on because you are doing a something brand new over at Heretic with the Evil 3 release. What are you guys doing over there with that?
Yeah, so every year we've done, this is our 6th year, I think, maybe 6th or maybe 7th, doing Evil 3, which is a collab between Mike Tasty McDole, who we lost this year, and Mitch Steele. And the three of us have been brewing this beer for years. And normally, the only way to get it, or the first way to get it is you show up on Evil 3 Day, which is the day before the Super Bowl every year. And you get in line and, you can get growlers filled up directly off the fermenter. You can pick up fresh 6-packs. You can, get kegs and all that sort of stuff. Well, because of the COVID, the pandemic, this year we're doing it online. So you can purchase pre-order to pick up, curbside pickup. You can also purchase it to be shipped within California.
Wow.
So, first time we're doing that, which
that's cool.
It's working out pretty good. It is limited, so if the show posts like in June, I'm just saying it might be a little too late.
No, I only do that for Brew Strongs. With the session, it's usually up by Wednesday, if at the latest. Latest.
I see how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what happens,
if
man.
his face is on the show, it gets a little more priority.
Yeah, well,
if Prince Handsome is there,
that's true.
Make it happen.
I'm busy playing Cyberpunk. I can't be bothered to do any work.
It's 11.5% triple IPA. It's smooth, delicious, easy drinking. And this last year we won the Bistro Fest for triple IPA as the best triple IPA, which I'm really proud of. And
that's a hard one.
Or Casey was a big fan of that fest and was always really excited about it every year. And so the fact that we were able to win it before he passed, I think it was just great. He really was excited about that. So.
Yeah. Well, and with Tasty, you couldn't really tell if he was excited like facially, but if he was excited for an event, you can tell because he would be there. That's really, you know what I mean? That's the only like sort of barometer, because it's usually he just sort of had the same look on his face because he was high and drunk.
Public facing thing, and then when he thought nobody else was looking, he turned to you and go, "Oh yeah," he'd tell you he was excited.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you guys change the recipe on that at all, or is it the same?
This year, no, and I don't think we did last year either. It took probably 4 years or so before we really got it dialed in to where, I could not think of any more changes that I wanted to do and nobody else could. And we all thought it was really tasting great. And so we settled on that. Now, it doesn't mean we won't in the future. It just depends on how the ingredients are doing. So, a lot of the stuff that we brew with for that, the hops and things like that, they come in earlier in the year. So we have a chance to kind of evaluate some of the ingredients we'll be using before we brew that beer. And so, we'll, tend to try and figure it out ahead of time and then make a little tweak if we need it. But this last couple of years, it really hasn't been necessary. It's usually necessary when there's huge shifts in the weather. In the growing season, it's like, super wet growing season, super dry growing season. It was hotter, it was shorter by a few days. All that stuff tends to mess it up. So, but other than that, I think we're
delicious last year. Really good.
Yeah, so it's the same recipe as last year.
Okay, good.
Good job.
How can people pre-order this? What do they do?
They go to our website, hereticbrewing.com. And Heretic Brewery, hereticbrewing.com. And there's a link there for ordering, and go there and you'll see Evil 3 pre-orders, and you can order it to pick up or for delivery in California. And delivery is not very expensive.
That's the thing about, COVID and the lockdown. And Teresa, you guys had to pivot to do this too, was delivery options. Mm-hmm. And you're right. The shipping prices on beer isn't, considering what you're getting. You're getting brewery fresh beer delivered right to your door, reasonable amount of dollars.
And it's heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy. Yeah. And so we're using what used to be called Golden State Overnight. I don't know what they're called now. Mm-hmm. But they're actually really
they still are GSO, but I think their website is GLS.
Yeah, they changed it to something else. But it pretty much just takes a day to go anywhere in California.
Anywhere in California.
Right, so it's fresh. And it's like $20-something for a half case, and I think like $30 for a full case, I want to say. To like San Diego.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cheap.
They've
got a good thing going.
Yeah, if you want some Evil 3 and you live in San Diego or anywhere outside of 2 hours, it's going to be worth it for you in
Eureka,
gas, man. Yeah, for sure.
And
you can't drive it.
Kaya.
Yeah, you can't drive there. Don't drive there because, in case...
But you can get some good beer, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. All right, so just hereticbrewing.com. Sign up for the pre-order amount. What do you get? There's a limit. I'm sure you can't buy like 1,000 of these things.
No. We're limited. We're trying to make it so everybody can get a taste of the Evil 3. It's it's pretty generous limits. It's like a case or so.
Oh wow, that is very generous. You know what I saw on that website of yours? The whole newfangled website is that if you're going to the brewery, you're filling growlers off the tanks, off like the bright tanks.
We've done that every year.
Oh wow!
This year we're we're only filling new growlers to avoid any sort of potential for any sort of cross contamination of COVID. So we'll fill new growlers, and then you can pick up a new growler. It's only a couple of bucks for a new growler. We don't charge anything other than what it costs us. So
I wish I liked triple IPAs, man, because it sounds great.
Yeah. Well,
sounds amazing.
You got to just drink one per year, JP. I think you'll live.
I don't know. Oh, I'll live. I won't.
Also got our small 5-barrel brew plant coming, and so I'm going to make a bunch of beers that you like.
Yes, you are. I will give you a list. I'll email it over to you.
Oh, maybe we can finally do that collab that we were supposed to do 10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. Don't worry, JP. You'll be first on my list.
Yeah, you're right. You're up at the top. Right? Staley got his done, and then everybody else tough luck. You work at Disneyland? Yeah, then I can't really help you.
No, I don't. But I would. I don't know. Anyway, well, that's cool. So everyone check out hereticbrewing.com. Support the boy, especially if you live in California. If you know people in California, maybe they can be your proxy and, hang out and grab these beers for you. But that sounds really cool. And the day before the Super Bowl for the locals, that's a perfect time. Who's calling me? Get out of here, Beverly. Beverly, I'm working. Bevo just called me. She's supposed to be in the chat room.
Want to know if you knew you'd be doing the show.
Yeah, she should be in the chat room right now doing the show with me. But, whatever. What are we going to do? Jason.
You're down the side of the highway.
Thank you for hanging on while we let Jamil talk, run his mouth.
Well, that's what I'm used to it. That's his MO.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Gosh.
I patiently wait and listen.
Yeah.
I'm dropping pearls here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wisdom. All wisdom.
We're talking and dropping pearls.
That's what he calls his pants. Right. Pearls. So let me ask you, Jason, are you, I imagine you're some kind of home brewer. I don't know, man. How did you get involved in craft beer? What are you doing with your life while you have a brewery right now? What's happening?
I lost my mind, basically. I went and ruined a good hobby. So back in, it was like 99, my wife got me a little homebrew kit for Christmas. And I think it was the same year Jamil got his from his wife, oddly enough. And I made some really crappy beer for a while, but of course I thought it was great. Everybody liked it. Then it got a little bit better over the years, kind of kept up on it. just read everything I could get my hands on, and slowly spent more and more money on homebrew equipment to the point of ridiculousness probably. And I joined the Greenbelt Brewers Association like in 2010, 11, something like that. It's a homebrew club out of Davis.
Okay.
Great group of guys and gals brewing up there, and started entering some competitions and getting a few ribbons and going, okay, this is pretty cool. My career, I can retire at age 50. So at some point I got the idea, well, hey, I'll be retired fairly young, and I'll need some sort of job. So maybe I can open up a brewery. So we started kind of trying to figure out how to go about that.
Yeah.
And ended up opening a little sooner than we probably should have, because I've been doing my regular job and this now for about 3 years.
Okay.
It's pretty brutal right now, but I retire in 6 months.
Damn. What's your, can we talk? It sounds like your job is secretive. You work for the government?
No, I am a police sergeant.
Nice.
For the Bay Area Rapid Transit, based out of Oakland. I run the canine program. So I've worked with canines for majority of my career in one respect or another. I was a handler. I've run the unit as a supervisor before, and I'm running it again right now.
Oh, wow.
I can make a decent beer, and I can train dogs. That's my skill set. That's about it.
That's right, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
How is Bart doing? For those who don't know, Bart's like the Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's our little train system out here. Those of you who've been out here for NHC or whatever in 2008, I think, are probably very familiar with Bart. But Bart's not doing too well either with the pandemic, huh?
Yeah, it's tough because nobody's on the train, so ridership is down a lot. So they're not bringing in the revenue that they were. So there's a lot of changes afoot. They've modified schedules. They've done all kinds of stuff. They still, providing the best service that we can and doing everything that needs to be done to get people around. But yeah, it's tough right now, just like every other industry. It ain't easy.
No, go charge $8 to go 4 city blocks, but that's
you're welcome. You're welcome.
That's my idea. That was my plan. Yeah. That's why I can retire by.
Yeah, so I actually had saved up a bunch of vacation time. And in 2014, I got approval from the then chief of police. I got into the Brew Lab program in Sunderland, England. And part of the thing was, hey, ultimately I want to open a brewery and it's a lot of money. So I'm going to need to take on investors perhaps, or I'm going to need somebody to really invest in their building for me because I'm not made of money. And having that little bit of education behind is shows a lot more than just some guy making beers in his garage. So I actually got to go. I think my wife only said yes because she thought that the boss was going to say no.
He'll never do it. It's fine. Yes, yeah. Go.
Yeah, and he was like, okay, sure, go ahead. So I went to England for like 12 weeks.
Wow.
And went through their program. It's a diploma in British brewing technology. So I've always really enjoyed European beers, English beers, Belgian beers, things like that. So it was a good fit for me. I don't have the prereqs to get into Davis's program. I actually had gone back to junior college and was taking some of the math and science to build up my transcript so I can try to get into Davis's program. But I have a degree in organizational communications, and I was actually a radio disc jockey before I got into police work.
Oh, nice.
So, it didn't help a lot with trying to get into any kind of science program, let's just say.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it didn't help you with your job either. I mean, maybe if you were working dispatch, but.
Yeah. Well, it was just one of those things. I was on the air doing the overnights, making peanuts, and my older brother was a police officer in the Bay Area. And I went and rode with him a couple times, and I was like, oh, I could do this. This is all right.
Nice.
And now it's been almost 27 years. So.
Crazy, man.
Crazy.
So you went to England. That sounds pretty fun. And what were you focusing on over there? I know it was British brewing, practices or whatever. But is that very different than American brewing practices?
Yeah, at the time when I went, it was mostly cask. The school. So we would design and brew every week in the lab at the school. And we also would get farmed out to work at a brewery. So I worked at like 9 different breweries in Northern England while I was there.
Jeez.
So it was really cool to see all these different systems and how they work and everything else. It was a a lot of experience pretty quick. Just to have different things. I mean, you weren't there long. You were there for a day or so, but putting that all together, you could get a kind of an idea. And then I didn't mention, but I also, Chris Miller out at Berryessa Brewing, I'd bring him my homebrew when he opened up, and he kind of took me under his wing for about 6 years. I'd go out there on the weekends and help out, basically cleaning stuff or whatever he needed, and just kind of grabbing information.
Okay.
That guy's a hop wizard. So
that's a long
picking up anything I could.
Yeah, that's a long road for you. That's a lot of. I would be very anxious and antsy to get going.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
But the other side, like I said, working full time and commuting down to the Bay Area, it was a lot. And then opening the brewery and then going through the construction phase. So I was able to broker a deal in the shopping center. It's an old shopping center in Suisun that's never really had much in it. So the guys that own it are great to us. They did all the work for us, and we didn't pay rent until we opened up. I mean, we still had pretty steep investment, all the equipment and the bar and, the tap room, but they did electrical and subterranean and lighting. I mean, ADA stuff, the bathrooms, the framing. They did a lot of work for us to get us in there.
Nice.
And gave us a really nice price too for a shopping center space.
Wow.
But doing all that and working full time has been really rough. And coming up in retirement, now I can really start ramping up. We kind of overbuilt the brew house a little bit. I'm waiting for Jamil to start laughing. So the brew house is an 8-barrel brew house.
I'm just
all the tanks are.
I'm waiting for you to admit which one of your friends gave you the best brewing advice.
Yeah.
Brewing.
That would be you, but I didn't listen to you though.
I'm just saying. Explain.
Don't do it. Don't do it. What's wrong with you? Were you dropped on your head many times as a child? Was that? Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it's been a rough go the last few years, and then we were really picking up, but brewing 8-barrel batches and going into 16-barrel tanks, and with the intention of double batching down the road when we get there, and we were there, and then COVID hit, so we're back down to kind of doing single batches again and just keeping stuff going. But it might be a blessing in disguise a little bit, because having other jobs, it gives us the ability to keep all of our people working, which has been great, because we had like 8-9 employees, I think. And so we've been able to keep everybody working and coming in and doing all the bar stuff. And, we're relying on our wages from our other jobs to kind of keep us afloat.
Yeah.
And then down the road, we can switch that over.
So when you said that you overbuilt the brew house, that your plan was to do double batches into the larger fermenters.
Right. And hoping that we would have gotten to that. Like we were on the cusp. We're just starting to do that when COVID hit. So I can do probably about 8 times the volume that I'm doing now, if not more, if we really, really push things through. So we have an ability to grow. I'm not looking to take over the world or do a ton of distribution. We have a huge tap room, and we bring in live music, and we do trivia on Sundays. And our thing was kind of a community space. And what's cool is it's my hometown, Suisun. My parents just live like 3 minutes away from my brewery. And so my pops is down there all the time hanging out.
Nice.
Just because I think he wants to probably just go do something, And, and I know a lot of people around Suisun and Fairfield. I went to high school just on the other side of the highway that the brewery's on. So it's kind of cool having that community space. And we've got a bunch of neighbors that live behind the brewery that have met each other there. And they might only live a few houses down from each other, and they've lived there for years and never knew each other. So it was a really cool vibe that we had going. So I'm hoping we get back to that real soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man. That would be very nice. Well, let's crack one of these beers, man. You sent like 100 beers over. I think I want to start with the English Mild. And
that's a good one.
Jamil, I'm assuming you've had this before.
If he's brewed it, I've had it.
Okay. And Teresa, again, I apologize.
Again, we are a scooter ride away, and like I said, when you're frustrated with your own brewery, what do? You go to somebody else's brewery. I'm over there all the time. And
vice versa.
I don't think he's paid for a beer since his opening day. So
wow.
Yeah.
And that beer actually I made it. My buddy Ian Elliott from the Greenbelt Brewers. We're real good friends. We hang out all the time and stuff. Our families. It's his original homebrew recipe that we kind of adapted to work into our system and put it together. But he's won a bunch of ribbons with that beer, and it's just really, really nice. 3.9%, super drinkable.
Yeah, look at that color, man. Very
Such a
brown.
fun beer style. We've never really done a mild. I've done a bitter and a special bitter, but yeah,
never mild.
I would love to have like 15 barrels of mild. That'd be great.
Me too.
Yeah, let's just. But yeah, it's not running out the door, quickly, but it has its fans.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, this is it's great, man. It's very smooth, very malty. You got a lot of well, tell me, can you give me the recipe or at least some of the malts that are in here?
Yeah, it's Maris Otter base, and then I'll probably dig it out. I actually brought my recipes all home, so I could, but I probably should have gotten them in some sort of order.
Oh, that's all right.
Classic styles are open there.
I won't waste time on it. It's some crystal malt, some Simpsons. I like Simpsons crystal malt. Maris Otter.
Let me get my recipe book, and it's just brewing classic styles.
Here it is. Yeah. Here it is. Actually, it's on the other computer.
Well, yeah, this is it's very easy drinking, man. And Jamil and I have talked a little bit about how hard it is to brew styles like this. Not because technically it's as difficult as anything else, I guess, but it's hard to sell beers like this, especially nowadays. Do you find that over your 10 minutes of patch down the road or? Absolutely. What's nice though is that we were running 20 taps, so I could put this on tap. I don't have to worry about that handle for a little while, and I could push through about 14 different hazies while that one's taking up some space. So it all works out. It fits into the schedule. It gives me a little bit of a pause where it's like one less handle that I'm flipping around super quick. Because we're doing 8-barrel batches, so we're going through beer pretty quick. And before the last shutdown, I have a bunch of draft accounts, so I push a fair amount of kegs out, Solano and Contra Costa. Okay.
Or I was.
Yeah.
So some of these go quicker than others, but this kind of beer is not one where one of my tap rooms that buys from me is like, oh, okay, let me get a keg. You have a mild. Oh, let me get that. Yeah, it's going to really go quickly.
Do you think it's the name?
But, I feel like people feel like it's really important. Like your tap room customers, they notice when you have that beer. And it means way more to them than like 7 different hazy beers. Like they're really excited to see that you have a mild, even if they don't order it but once. It's still a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice option, and it's one of the beers that I'll drink. You know what I mean? It's the ones that we put on tap kind of for ourselves too, where you can enjoy it. And if I'm walking around the tap room all evening when we were open and chatting with people, it's nice. You can sip on a few of these and not fall over,
Do you think it's the style name mild? Like
well, I think, what I mean? Didn't you change the name of one of yours?
I did. So we put it on as a, name was Dark Mild or whatever, and nobody bought it. And I changed it to Classic British Brown Ale or something like that. Ken from Device was like, change the names of these. And we changed the name, and sales went through the roof.
Yeah, I changed my bitter to a pub ale, and that went way better.
Easy IT is what I'm calling the next one.
And they're just going to get this thing that looks like Newcastle. You're like, wait a minute.
You're like, just drink it.
I don't understand.
Do you like it?
Do you like it? Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like, especially in the beer drinking culture, I was going to say these days, but I don't think it's really changed. It's like you sort of gravitate towards like aggressive naming or aggressive schemes or aggressive flavors. Like look how popular Arrogant Bastard was. It's not because that beer's good. It's because of the name.
Yeah, marketing's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I get shit from Jamil all the time. He hates my beer names because I mean, if you look at you think of a cool name, you're like, oh, I'm going to use that. You look on Untappd, 48 breweries have already used it.
Yeah.
So I use like weird, obscure movie lines or whatever I have in my head. I keep like a running list of idiot names that I can draw on, and people actually kind of expect it from us now.
Well, and God bless you are trying to not use other people's names. So
I try.
At least you're doing that, and that's what you end up really struggling, because you come up with a cool name. That's like, well, somebody else already has it. It's a real struggle.
I have a new nautical themed beer coming out called Evil Fin. Is that cool? Is that going to work? No.
Evil with a Y, and I think you could.
Right.
I think you definitely
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Evil Ben.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
So yeah, we have really stupid beer names most of the time.
So what's the name for the mile? Give me your stupid beer name for the mile.
That one is actually really cool.
Examples. We need a little. We need a little.
That one's a cool name. That one is actually called Decidedly English.
I hate it. I'm kidding.
See?
Yeah.
See, and that's what he thinks is a really cool name.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of success for my beer naming. That's it.
Decidedly English.
That's the apex. That's the top of the hill, right?
Did it come from like a Friends episode or what? Like,
no, I don't even know. No, I think that was actually the name of one of my home brews that I had entered in competition. I think actually I originally was calling my brown that, which we have on tap now, called Perfect Tuesday, which that's another story. It used to be called Random Tuesday, and then we had it on
Random Tuesday.
Some random
Tuesday, right? And I'm like, this beer's delicious. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't sell that well. I'm like, what's the name sucks. Like, how about like a Beautiful Tuesday or whatever? I think I said Beautiful Tuesday. I said, you rename it Beautiful Tuesday, it'll sell. And of course, he couldn't do that. So he went with like the Perfect Tuesday or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And what happened to
Still was a hot ticket. Hot ticket after that. Yeah.
I mean, if it were true that bad beer names didn't sell beer, the Rare Barrel wouldn't have any sales.
Well, but you can make it trendy and cool by being sour.
Well, that is true. I mean, I will say the Rare Barrel beers, and of course I'm kidding, Jay, don't worry about it. But like, you know, their beer names are, and we beat this to death already, but their beer names are like sort of, you know,
crappy,
literary, right? Like they use like fancy words and whatever.
Like hipstery.
Hipstery, yeah.
Is what you mean.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for
where
they
those
are
beer,
in
yeah,
the world.
100%. Wow, that's a good beer, man. I like it.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a break. Also, I'm going to do that. And then we're going to come right back and drink some more beers and talk a little bit more about brewing practices, how things are going with COVID, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. The good things in life that we're going to be talking about. Maybe we'll tackle I don't know, what do you think, Schwartz beer next?
Sure.
That'd be a good order to go to. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, everyone stay tuned real fast. It's the session. We'll be right back.
Segmented, demented, fermented.
It's the session.
Thanks for hanging on, everybody. We're here with Jason from True Symmetry Brewing. I'm going to jump into this Schwartz beer, Jason, but I do want to talk a little bit about, you like we talked about before, you were sort of shut down for COVID. Have you guys had to do any pivoting, or how are you guys surviving the
quite
COVID
a bit.
era?
So, you know, designing the place to be pretty much all, 90% in-house sales with a huge tap room and live music and all that, we can't do any of that. We actually bought a little canning machine from Wild Goose called the Gosling. So we started messing around with that. Prior to that, and then we still use behind the bar, we have a little Dixie canner, and we had it made for 16 ounces. So we have a CO2 purger. We basically fill beers off of the tap and can them up and label them. And customers come in, they could order online, or they could just come in and take their beers to go. And we could keep our bartenders working that way. So it's worked out enough to where we're paying the rent and our employees' paychecks.
Wow.
So
that's all you can ask for, man.
So we're selling enough beer for that, but it's tight. It's definitely, a huge pivot on how we deal with things. I mean, I have this gigantic tap room that I pay for every square foot in there, and we can't use it. It's a little frustrating. I understand, but we want to be responsible, and I'm kind of a rule guy. We kind of follow the rules.
Yeah, you think?
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing our best to make sure that everybody's safe, and our employees go down and they wipe everything down, and we have a little timer that goes off, and the doors and everything get wiped down. And we were doing fine too with when when we had, because it was like 25%, and then we had 50% capacity or vice versa or something. Yep. And even with that, I think our capacity, our tap room is like 270. So we can still fit enough people in there that if we, even at 25%, and then we have a big patio outside too, you know, we were doing fine. But now with this last shutdown, it's been even tougher because I think there's like customer fatigue where originally everybody's like, support your local brewery. Let's go out. I'm going to buy all these cans. And now people are like, And you just aren't seeing the crowds coming in the way they were to make those to-go purchases. I think once we open up again, to the 25 or 50% would be great. We're going to have to really stay on top of cleaning things, because I think, especially in Solano County where we are, people are just dying to go out and do something.
Yeah. 2022.
Yeah. I hope not that long.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we're getting more vaccine rollouts, and we got the super pods. I'm sure everyone's heard about those. We're like Cal Expo, and down in LA, they're going to have 5 of these giant vaccination sites. They're going to crank out 1,000 people a day.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I mean, I read some headline where it's like
only take a couple of weeks at most to do at 1,000 a day.
Yeah. Problem would be solved by June for sure.
Sure. Well, look, man, it's better than 500 people a day. You know what I mean? I mean, right now there's like a couple of hundred. It's not going well. I was able to get the first round of the vaccine, and I say unfortunately because I feel incredibly bad about it. But through my wife's work, she works at like senior living healthcare, and they allotted like a certain amount to all of the communities.
You look like one of the seniors at her senior living.
Trust me, I feel like one. Well, and some of them were just not going to take it. They didn't want to. So they had these extra doses, and they're like, well, we should give them to the family members too. So everyone, and I'm like, Taryn and I are both like, look, we don't do anything. I don't need, like, please give this to somebody else.
They should just be vaccinating everybody.
Well,
but the clock is ticking on those doses.
The clock is ticking. So if
I have a couple of friends that got vaccinated the same way, just they knew somebody and they were like, hey friends, like, who wants to run over here like right now?
Just do them all. Just everybody.
Well, and
don't feel guilty.
And that's why that's the only reason I don't feel bad about it, is because literally if I didn't have that appointment, I was the last person there that day. That would have gone to waste. That dose would have literally gone to waste.
Now, I heard you elbowed Mr. Jensen, 99-year-old World War II survivor.
Yeah, but
out of the way.
He was asking for it, dude.
He should get faster with that walker.
He really should have. But it was
walker. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
I tell you though, man, watching it, like, it was CVS who did it, and they were so inept. And I was there for an hour and a half, and they had 10 people to vaccinate. They couldn't figure out the timing for like thawing the doses out. Then every single time they gave a shot, they had to go, how many do we have left? Because either you can get 5 or 6 out of the vial. They don't know.
They need to get veterinarians involved.
They need to get anybody. They're going to talk.
Do it.
Dentists, veterinarians.
They're talking dentists. So I was like, Doc, you got to get in on this. He goes, I'm looking at it to see. So that's where we're at. Like, and so anyway, that's the whole point of bringing that up, is that it is not going well. However, things hopefully will be better once we get more people doing it. But man, I was shocked at how shoddily run this thing was. It's like, you can go get flu vaccines all the time at CVS. They've done this before. Why am I waiting in line for an hour and a half?
So shoddy, it's like the bring milk.
It really is.
They're opening up to first responders now. So my business part, so it's my wife and I. So my wife is really the boss. I'll say that first and foremost.
Sure.
I'm the idiot that makes the beer. She actually runs the business.
Yeah.
And then we have my business partner, Jesse. I was going to have him come on the podcast as well, but we call him Silent Jesse. So he probably wouldn't be really, really good at radio.
Yeah.
He's a firefighter paramedic. So he's already had his first round. He gets his second soon. And then I think I'm signed up to go like next week to get my first.
Oh, nice.
First one.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
get this thing moving.
I don't know, man. It was weird, but I've read that like already the vaccines that are happening in California are starting to at least stabilize the numbers. So hopefully there's already an impact of it.
Now this is rounding up vaccine talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Get closer to your microphone. What are you doing? Laying on the couch?
Yes.
All right.
Back to beer.
Okay.
After vaccine talk.
Yeah, for sure, man.
One of my favorite recent True Symmetry beers has been the Fairfield Fog. I think he should have called it Suisun Fog and not misappropriate Fairfield when he's not located in Fairfield.
Wow.
Well, let's just say this.
Answer
it
that.
It wasn't taken yet, and so I plan on taking Fairfield over anyway.
That's right.
That little brewery you have over there, I'm sorry. You don't know it yet, but we're gonna take over.
Nice. You come over, you take over the bathroom stall. I'm just saying.
Whoa, easy.
Yeah. Easy. Jeez Louise. Let's talk about the Schwartz beer. What's the dumb name for this one?
It's actually Midnight at Noon. That's pretty good, right?
It sounds like a 70s country song. It's not awful. I've heard worse.
Because it's low ABV. It's something you could drink in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's a Schwartz beer.
No, I get it.
And so we modeled it a little heavier, a little beefier. It's it's got some nice roastiness to it.
Disney
over the top
kind of marketing. I'm just saying.
It's delicious.
I like it. That's very good. What's the ABV on this one? Did you just say?
I think it's like 5.
Oh, yeah. It says 4.8. Look at that.
Okay, even better. I tried to send some beers your way that I know you would enjoy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then I got a triple IPA or something, and a hazy IPA, and a peanut butter thing.
Oh, our triple's coming out actually probably the weekend before Evil 3. I dry hopped it a couple days ago.
Can you pre-order it?
Fantastic name.
Can you pre-order online?
You can pre-order when you come into the bar, and then we'll make it for you. We'll get it ready. No, actually, we're probably going to do a run. I'm getting some labels made for it. So, yeah, we're going to do something on our website where you can get them. But
they'll put it into cans that I sold.
Yes. That's right.
I get all my cans from Heretic.
Okay. It's called.
I have photos of him in compromising positions.
Oh yeah.
So that helps me. Basically twist his arm to get cans at his price. Because I buy like a pallet or a half pallet at a time, which is if you buy from one of these retailers, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They mark these things up like crazy, where he gets truckloads of it.
Are they just blanks, and then you put your own labels
on? My pickup truck and put a pallet in the back and take it over there, and we're good for a while.
Nice. And are they blanks?
Yeah.
Then we sticker them.
Okay.
But the thing is, we're friends and we support each other, and I think when you were asking, you're just like, hey, I'm thinking of setting up like 10 miles from here. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I do believe that the more breweries you have in an area, the better it is for the breweries in that area. It's like restaurants,
For sure.
Every time there's like a row of restaurants on a street, all of them do better. Well, other than the real crappy ones, right? The ones that are decent, actually, they're business.
I'm still here. I'm right here.
All right. It's not because more people come to the area. If we could get 20 breweries in the Fairfield area and the Suisun backpack, we get a lot more people coming from out of the area to come and visit. And so, a lot of times people come visit my brewery and, because they've heard of us. And then I'm just like, would you still like some more beer? I got a friend of mine who makes great beer. His brewery's just down the road. Let me take you over there. And they're like, okay, sure. So, I mean, how many times have I come over with, people wanting free beer?
Often.
Never.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm going to bring all of my leeches.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my leeches to your house. And there
It's a real mutual support society. We help each other. Jason ended up with a glycol tank a 500-gallon glycol tank that he didn't need anymore. He brought it over to my place and set it up in the distillery. So we have a lot of mutual support for each other.
Yeah, Heretic and Jamil's been great. I mean, just as an old home brewer guy, and opening up in the shadow of a Heretic and Budweiser's literally a mile and a half from me. It's a scary thing to do because you're going to get compared to, some really good beer. So you have to make sure you're doing everything right and pay attention to detail. If somebody's coming to spend some money on a pint in my place, I want to make sure that they get something good. It's nothing worse than going somewhere and spending your money and you're like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it freaks people out, man. I mean, and it's easier, I guess, to get around, or maybe you can excuse it. I don't know. I think it's harder to reconcile spending your money and going, what is this, like at the store? I feel like maybe people, and all three of you can correct me because I'm probably wrong, but like if you're at a tap room, I feel like you can go, okay, well, maybe this isn't really whatever. But if you're at the store and you spend your money on a six pack, it's like, this is not.
This is a crappy beer. And, hey, but I'm stuck here. So, okay. All right.
So I'm forced to at least then you can at least then you can try something else on the board, right? But if you buy like a 6-pack of that Schwartz beer and you're like, what are you gonna do, right?
You're like, I didn't even know what that Schwartz thing was. Now I'm stuck with this weird beer.
Yeah, for sure.
All garbage.
Well, so one of my favorite beers that you make is the Fairfield Fog. And you gave JP a
yeah. So Jamil's producing the show. You want to do that one next, Jamil?
Yes. Well, and I think you ought to tell the story of the hazy comments that you got.
So I sent him a message because I got some sort of Untapped review about how it's a good beer, but it's not really a hazy beer. I'd call it more of a cloudy beer. And I sent him a message and was like, dude, I think I just started a new style, the cloudy IPA.
Cloudy beer.
So yeah, I don't go for super murky. So it's got, you can't necessarily see through it.
That's not hazy. That's cloudy.
It's cloudy. Yeah.
It's not a hazy.
Yeah.
Beer.
It's like Thule fog,
What
right?
is the difference?
Just kind
What
of burns off in the afternoon.
Exactly.
You guys are killing me with these different.
And then the way we do them, I got. So at Brew Lab, there was some great guys there, and one of my buddies I went to school with opened a place in Providence, Rhode Island called Long Live Beer Works, and killer beers. He's come out here. We did a collab, and then I went to Providence to do one with him. And so as he says, they're just called IPAs. They're not called hazy. But I got to spend some time with him, and he took me by Trillium, and I got to hang out there for a while and ask some questions. And then, with everybody else in the industry that I run into and ask questions. So we've kind of developed our process and our way. So just similar to everybody else that are doing these now, no hops touch this beer unless it's below 170 degrees. And then a huge whirlpool, huge dry hop, and just delicious and nice. And it's not overly green or yeasty. You can drink a couple of them. Now, having said that, is it my cup of tea? No, not necessarily. I'm a West Coast guy, IPA, and like the tasty that we made together, and the West Wind, which is probably our flagship, our double IPA is our biggest seller. Crisp, clean West Coast IPA with was it Citra, Mosaic, and Amarillo. Just nice, easy. That's what I prefer to drink, but I try to approach a little bit of that with the hazies too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I get a lot of like tangerine mandarin, peel kind of thing going on, which I get. It is very smooth, which I'm not. It's funny how many brewers come on the show and send in hazy beers, and they go, I don't really like drinking it. It's funny to me because like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's like I only brew the things that I drink. And then now you can't do that. And I totally get it. I used to give a lot of people shit, but now it's like, I don't really care anymore. But it is not chalky. It is not grainy. It is not particulate. So that I really do appreciate. It is very soft and pillowy and round.
Would you call it cloudy?
I know what you're trying to do.
Oh,
I mean, no. To me, it's just hazy and like I don't know. I mean, can you put a different name on like just a gradient of?
Yeah, no. It's all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
It's delicious though. I mean, as far as a hazy beer goes, I mean I try to make it how I think the people that come into my place would want to drink it. And so I see what sells and what sells quickly, and then I brew more of that in that direction.
What are you saying, Jamil?
You poured that in your dump bucket. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Well, look, I tasted
That's aggressive.
First of all, how dare you call me out on that? I feel like nobody else would have noticed. But
maybe it's just having you're having a low alcohol January. I mean, we can't just call them out completely, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Oh, speaking of which, can I talk about the whole dry January thing?
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want. This is your show for at least another 45 minutes.
I've told customers no, there's no dry January this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't do it.
No, we're all hurting. We all need to sell beer. No, your health is out the window. You have to drink beer in January. If you want to have a dry whatever, maybe let's talk October, November. Yeah, we got to push this thing back.
Well, even then,
open up again.
Yeah, I mean the dry, obviously, whatever people want to do, that's fine. But I don't understand the solid month off, because if you're like me, you've been drinking more heavily in lockdown than before. So I'm trying to at least go every other day. That's my new thing. I feel like I'm going to do that. And then that turned into 4 days the other day because I got absolutely zooted off of white wine Thursday. Woke up with a hangover, felt like shit, didn't want to get my vaccine, feeling like shit, so I didn't drink on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, didn't really care, and because I knew I was doing this tonight. So it just sort of happens like that. But no, I don't understand the totally abstaining, but maybe it's something new for people to do. But maybe in your case, Jason, it's well, buy these beers and then age them. You know what I mean? Here's the stout. Buy this now.
Oh, that's a big beer January.
Big beer January. Don't open till February.
Oh,
yeah.
Finally, he comes up with marketing guys. Finally.
Hey, can you guys mark this time down? That's
yeah.
the first compliment.
Well, Jamil, when you left, John Palmer came in and gave that idea. So.
Yeah.
Oh no, I need to trademark this right now. I'll be right back.
All right, we won't do it without you.
I want to know about ZanaFest, to be honest. ZanaFest in June.
Oh, is there a ZanaFest in June? Oh, all right, my birthday.
Yeah, your birthday brew fest.
That is actually a good idea. ZanaFest. I like that.
ZanaFest. Yeah, I'm reminding you because I came up with this name and I want credit. And I think it's hilarious.
We'll give you 5% at the door. I'm just saying.
No, just give me a pat on the back. That's all I need.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take her 5%. It's fine. Back to the hazy real fast. Thanks, Jamil. You said you brew the beers the way that you think people want to drink them. How do you know? Do you sit down and do you give them the beer and you go, hey, what are your thoughts on this beer? Do you get a lot of customer feedback? Or you just to a degree, but it's more what's selling and what's selling quickly. Okay. So the beers that I can rip through real quick. Yeah. And I watch, and I watch the ratings on these beer rating sites.
Do you?
Sometimes
are hilarious.
You're the Untapped monitor.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I might as well just kick myself in the nuts, but sometimes it's ridiculous, but at least I could kind of gauge what's happening. Because we're a newer brewery, and to see, we're competing with all these other breweries that are well known, as hazy breweries, and if they're digging the hazy that I put out, and the ratings are real high, and I go in the cold box and I see that I'm ripping through kegs real fast, then I'm like, okay, so they like that, so we'll work more to that. We're small enough that I can do that, so it's kind of fun for me. It keeps it creative.
And that's style, but do you alter? Do you tweak the recipe out?
Yeah.
To clean the palate.
I usually keep 2 hazies on, sometimes 3, and I'll do a higher ABV and a lower ABV, and then I'll do some with oats, some without oats, some with flake barley, some without flake barley, and we just tweak it up, and then different hops in just about every one that we put out. We have a few that will that pop out occasionally, the same ones.
Yeah.
That sold well before, but I found that the people that are coming in for the hazies are the ones that are also want what's new. So for us, when I have all sort of these classic English and Belgian beers and a bunch of lagers on tap, that they're gravitating toward these. And if I had the same one on all the time, I tend to sell more beer if I tweak it a little bit and give it a different name, like Fairfield Fog 1, Fairfield Fog 2.
See,
and so on and so on.
Those are very good names.
Good names, right?
Works really well for restaurants.
People like numbers. They like numbers.
They really...
No? Okay, I lied. That was a lie. I apologize. I lied to you guys. I just made that up.
Well, you know what?
There's no scientific proof behind that statement whatsoever.
If there is ever a beer called People Like Numbers, I'll instantly buy it.
That would be a good beer name.
Let's write that down.
I'm actually taking that beer name.
Collaboration.
People Like Numbers.
Totally.
All three of you.
Type of beer name. That's it.
People like numbers.
It's actually a horrible beer name.
That's not a horrible beer name.
It depends
on my wheelhouse.
It depends on the style,
right
though.
there.
I feel like it depends on the style because
customers will not come in and go, "Oh, People Like Numbers. Oh, that really speaks to me." That is a terrible beer name. It's perfect. It's in with all the other beer names he has.
Yeah.
All right, look, chat room. You tell me, is that a good name or not? And we'll get some actual testing going on because this is
probably not. Probably not.
You can't have a People Like Numbers porter, but maybe like a barley wine. Maybe like a barley wine. You could.
People like numbers.
People look.
You got to go high gravity. You got to go high gravity on that, right? Like
yeah.
Number.
That's true. See, that is. It has a good amount of irony.
I just found a place for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's solid.
Look, it's no tangerine tornado.
Jamil, did you hear that? Teresa thinks my beer names are genius. That's what I got out of that.
Well, just to let you know, Jason, Teresa is on record on this show saying that she doesn't like her own beer names very much. So
that I don't like what beer names?
Your beer names.
I don't know his beer names yet.
I was just joking.
I think you're wrong.
I know, it was a joke.
Oh, haha.
Yeah.
You made her really uncomfortable right
I know, I did. And then now I feel uncomfortable because I was just teasing her. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do.
You guys don't know me well enough to realize that it's really, really hard to make me uncomfortable. I hang out with that guy over there.
You have to really squeeze tight, and then it happens.
No, only after payment. What else should we open here, Jason?
I was going to
do the Schwartz. I was going to do the.
How about the Belgian Blonde?
Belgian Blonde. All right. That's what I was going to do, and then Jamil pushed me into the fog or whatever, and then.
So the tall blonde.
I drank a lot of the fog.
The tall blonde. So the name behind this.
There we go.
I'm 5'7". So I decided not to take the scholarship to UCLA for basketball, and instead married my wife, who's a 6 foot tall blonde.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He felt sorry for me, I think.
No.
She must, because she's far smarter than you.
Yeah, that's not saying much, man.
She's more talented than you. I mean, really. Well, I mean, what the hell's going on here? I don't know. It looks very weird. And
it looks weird.
You know,
my 12-year-old daughter is the same height as me.
Oh,
a 12-year-old daughter that says, "Daddy, I'm as tall as you are."
Wow. And you look up at her, you're like, "Please don't say that." You know. I think my kid's going to be almost as tall as me.
Don't fear the Amazons. They're friendly. I swear.
That's right.
They're really good.
Well, tell me about the Belgian Blonde here, Jason.
So, classic Belgian style blonde. It's a little Belgian aromatic, Pilsner malt, and White Labs 530. So Abbey yeast, and we pitch about 66, and I let it roll into about 81 to finish out. So really low. The phenolics are really subdued, but a lot of esters. So you get like pear, some red apple, and we sell the snot out of that beer. That's one we sell a lot of beer.
I like it. I like it. Well, I said and it's not. It is right when I was tasting the beer, and I realized it looked bad. But it's interesting that you can sell a lot of this beer, and you make it over and over again. I imagine you're not taking as many liberties as you are with hazy beers, but hazy beers you have to change up so people come back and buy it. I'm. It's still just one of those weird anomalies in the beer world that
pissed off if I do anything different with this beer.
And yet, I don't know why hazy beers are like the only style now that's allowed to change dramatically time over time. But everything else should be is the same. In fact, I think you get shit upon if this beer changed so much from time to time, but you still call it the same thing or whatever. But hazy beers, if your hazy was the same thing, you would be shit upon. It's weird. I don't know. People are finicky, man.
I would agree.
I know, JP. I mean, if you have a beer brand that you carry forward, it does stay somewhat the same. You might tweak it. We have a couple of hazy beers that are always the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you find that people would prefer them different all the time?
Well, I think there's always room for a new IPA, whether it's a West Coast or a hazy beer.
Yeah.
But if you have a hazy flagship beer, our 1-2 Punch is our flagship beer, and we drive 50% of our production to this beer. So it doesn't change. It's always the same.
Yeah.
I think it's still okay to have that flagship be a hazy. And I'm sure Jamil does too.
Yeah, your everyday customers, they're looking for, what's new. Right? The customers that come by a couple times a month, they want to know what's new. The everyday customer, I would say, is they don't want to see that beer change. That's their beer. They're coming to that beer. If you change that beer, they're going to be pissed. The customers that are coming once a month or every couple times a month or something like that, they want to see what are you doing that's new. And then past that, it's all new to them. So, you have to kind of suss out your, who's your everyday drinker, who's your, I come every once in a while to see what's new, and then all the rest of them, you don't even need to worry about it. You just need to see that you have something trendy that's on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's you got to do both things. You have to have your core beers. You have to have your Belgian blonde ale that they can rely upon. Yep. But then they want to see you mix it up in another area. But you can kind of play around with where that is changing, I think.
Well, and this is why every brewery has to have 20 frickin' taps.
Right.
Yeah. 20 good beers, you got to have 20 freaking taps. Because otherwise, oh my God, there's, we change, we were putting on a new beer every week. And then, somebody was complaining that it's exactly the same beers every time I come here. There's no change. It's every week there's a new beer on.
Right. Literally 52 new beers this year.
Right. Yeah. So now we're at 23 new taps. It's and still, it's all the same. It's not the same. Half the freaking beers are different. The last time you were here, you son of a bitch.
Well,
you can't win.
Half the beers are
can't win.
Half the beers are different, but they're still all IPAs.
No.
And so I feel like that's the problem.
Recognize it's well, you still have Evil Cousin on. You still have Evil Twin on. Okay. All of those are all the same beers. The rest of the menu is totally different. The same thing.
Hey, you know what's funny is actually we figured out too that the beers on the menu that are in 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 20 beers, those ones sell faster than the rest. So if you want to move a beer, you move it to the on the upside of the
number one
upside of the menu because they see that first and they're like, some people are just like, oh yeah, number 1, I'll take that, or number 2, yeah. They don't want to. They see 20 beers and you're like, that's a lot of work.
Those are the alcoholics.
You know what? I was never good at doing homework. I don't want to read this whole thing. I'm just going to stop right here. I'm going to order number 2. Let's just have that.
This is one of the reasons I love Jason.
Thank you.
We just talk through all sorts of stuff, and we throw out whatever we're seeing, and then we have different kind of, epiphany moments. And I think, in our menu, Evil Twin's been number one on that board since we started.
So
like 10 years.
So what I'm saying is, you could call Evil Twin dog shit ale, and it's number one. They're still going to buy it because it's number one on the menu. That's what I'm saying.
There's only one way to find out.
Scramble the board once a week, and then people are like, "Oh my God, every beer's new every week."
Yeah, they would be floored with the new variety.
Exactly. Just because it was a different order, they would imagine it's all new beers.
We'll throw a new beer sometimes up early, and this is my wife's genius, actually, so I can't take credit for this.
Yeah.
He was saying she's much smarter than I am. You put one of those beers up higher in the menu, you'll push through it faster.
I mean,
interesting.
She's probably not wrong. And
we always organize our board by light beers are here, IPAs in the middle, dark beers and barrel aged are on the right. So you're saying we just need to mix the shit up?
Yeah, scatter them about, and then you have your menus. We have electronic menus, and they rotate. So they'll do 10, and then they'll do the other 10, and then the two screens will change back and forth. So
yeah, we don't do electronic. We do old school.
You can definitely A/B test that for sure. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
just change it up for one day.
I think this could be a fun experiment.
Yeah.
All right.
So we just open again. So we're
breweries figure this out. I'm just saying.
I think what I'm liking about this conversation is realizing that even Jamil, as big as Jamil is, and us who are slightly larger than True Symmetry, we all have the same problems.
Yes.
Selling beer.
You just
selling beer.
You said I was big.
Well, you are.
Yeah, you're. Well, I didn't mean it in a mean way.
Yes, you did. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. This is our last break. Yes, this is our last break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap things up. We're going to have, I don't know, we'll probably squeeze in at least one more beer, if not two, with Jason here from True Symmetry. And then
only 6 more to go.
Only 6 more to go. We're all going to take a nap. And that'll be good. No,
it's a telethon.
That's right. Yeah. Send your donations in right now. If you like programming such as this, you get a free tote bag. All right, hang on, everybody. It's the session. We're going to be right back.
You're tuned into the session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Jason's here with True Symmetry, of course, and then also we have Jamil and Teresa as well, sitting in and helping me navigate the complex world of being neighbors in craft beer, which I don't know anything about. Jason, if we had one more beer to get through, what should it be? 2 beers.
The problem is I sent you too many beers. So.
Well, normally that's not a problem, but to decide, we have analysis by
I sent you a nice kettle sour. It's one of the ones we always have on. And I sent you a beer called Snakes and Sparklers, which is an American lager, like corn lager.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of nice. That's in your favorite things to drink.
Let's do.
And there's also the Tasty collab that we did.
We got to do that
with Heretic.
We got to do that.
Yeah, do that one.
Forever Tasty is what it's called. Can you guys tell me about this? About your collab here?
So we did a Facebook Live. And it was Dramont Wright, Jamil and I. He's a great home brewer, chef. And we did it Facebook Live, kind of homebrew style. We got on the camera and we talked about Tasty's version of an IPA. And he came out to Greenbelt, our club, and spoke a couple times in regard to how he likes to produce his beers. And then we took the approach of, from my brewery, what we had on hand. Mm-hmm. So what ingredients we had on hand to actually make this beer. So we designed it live, and then we brewed it a few days later, and that's the beer.
Well, I will say this. This tastes like a beer Tasty would have made.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Look at that color. I mean, that is pale yellow.
Tasty and I spent a lot of time talking recipes and and brewing and tasting and all this stuff. And I tasted a lot of the beers that he made, and that tastes very much like Tasty IPA, if you ask me. I think, he loved doing a bit of Pilsner. He loved doing a bit of malt, wheat. He loved doing, there was just a certain thing that he loved doing in his beers. And, JP, I know you had, or PH, I know you had a lot of tasty beers over the years.
Yeah.
So does that not taste like a tasty beer?
It does, man. And I'm trying to pinpoint that while you're explaining it. And it's that sharp
sweetness, or that malty sweetness, that Pilsnery,
that bready grainness.
For me, it's that sharp citrus hop flavor. It's almost like pithy, where a lot of times we talk about citrus and hops and we talk about the bright citrus oil, but not the pith. But the way he would make some of his beers, it was almost like the full peel.
Yep, it's like the classic,
in a good way, and not because
Yep.
it was subtle, and he would like to layer those things in it. So you get that up front, and I think that sort of helped goose the bitterness perception, the perceived bitterness of his beers. I think sometimes were a little bit higher than the actual bitterness was because of the hop choices.
So, Jason and I, is this the third collab we've done, or fourth, or what?
Done a few. We had Monster Cookie, and that was conceived drunken darts in your garage.
Yeah,
the Monster Cookie.
Oh, we did one before that even.
I
don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's been
we've done a number, I think. And it's always a ton of fun, and we I don't know. I think this one we were trying to just respect Tasty's brewing mind and the way he liked to have things done, and I think it turned out great. I think it turned out, it's not necessarily a beer I would brew or if Jason would brew. It is a beer that Tasty would have brewed.
Yeah,
and that 100% towards. Well, that's what he would have brewed. Left to his own devices, this is what he would have brewed.
And I think you're right, honestly, man, because it is the harder water. I don't know too much about water profiles, but it seems like it is a little more crisp, more clean. It's sort of no nonsense, and that's very good.
So if you feel like compare and contrast, there's a can of Westwind I gave you. That's my flagship double IPA. If you want to put it in another glass and just sip it in comparison, like how I would normally do my IPAs and what we did with this one, it is some different water treatment to this beer than what I would normally do a little bit. But yeah, it was all him. We're trying to be authentic.
This is a tasty beer other than we didn't throw in the dog hair. We did not put dog hair to it.
No dog hair.
No dog hair. Is this something you're going to keep doing, Jason?
Yeah, we had the Nutria rat from the swamp behind the brewery. Probably blew in through the open door, and there was probably some Nutria rat hair.
You can call it that, yeah.
I'm just saying. Would you say that's correct, Jason, or is there enough?
Well, that's why I keep a gun around the brewery, just to fight off the Nutria.
Do you guys actually really have Nutria down there?
It's a huge rat.
Do you really have Nutria?
Actually, I have not seen one in Suisun.
Okay.
That's a rumor.
Well, that's
a rumor.
That's the benefit of living in Suisun instead of Fairfield. Yeah, you don't have Fairfield Nutria. Suisun.
They're good eating.
Well, you know what actually separates Fairfield and Suisun is the railroad track. So I am on the wrong side of the tracks, apparently.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right side if you don't have Nutria. And you guys, the only thing I know about Nutria is I was watching one of these it wasn't a procedural cop show, but it was like a
$5 per tail you can get from things.
Yeah, it was like a reality series following Border Patrol, and was it something like that where they would like shoot the Nutria. on the border because they're like large cats. They're giant rats. They're huge.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, they're huge. Teresa, look it up. Look up nutria. It's crazy.
They've actually only found 2 in Suisun in the last couple years, and they weren't near my brewery. Okay. I'm just saying.
All right.
Somebody from in Louisiana wanted to have a fur farm and imported nutria from like South America or something into Louisiana, and lo and behold, they got out of the cages, and
oh my god,
there, and they are eating everything in the swamp and destroying the swamp. And so in Louisiana, I mean, maybe $10 a tail now. They pay people to go out and shoot these nutria rats, and if you bring in their tail, they'll give you $5, $10, whatever it is, because it's destroying the ecosystem there. And now it's out here in the United States. It's again another invasive species. It's not like anybody hates a nutria rat, but it's just destroying the environment.
Which do you think?
Never heard of this.
Which do you think is the worst invasive species, nutria or hazy IPAs?
Hazy IPA, come on.
For sure. That affects us way more directly.
Yeah, which do you think has destroyed the community?
Oh, come on. Now we've offended half the country.
Yeah, well, look, you know what? Half the country.
Good hazy IPA is a lot more delicious than the best nutria rat.
I don't know that. I would be willing.
We had a barbecue, let's just say. I don't want to talk. I'm not going to go into it, but.
I don't know. I mean, it probably tastes like a squirrel, but I'd much rather eat a squirrel.
What do you?
It tastes like chicken.
Does it really?
Greasy.
I have no idea. That was a lie.
It is a greasy animal.
Well, it probably tastes like a squirrel. I've never had a squirrel either.
Not unlike a lot of the BN hosts.
Oh, I for sure would taste like a squirrel. No doubt about it.
And nutria, far greasier than a squirrel. Squirrel's fairly lean. Very greasy.
Well, look.
You put them on the Traeger, it's fine. It knocks all that out.
Yeah.
Probably could. 45 minutes, probably. Spatchcock it, blow the back out. Yeah.
Right.
This is a good.
JP, you got a few more minutes?
Yeah.
You got a couple more of these beers.
No, I know. Well, I'm gonna do one more beer, and then I'm gonna have one, if not two, special guests call in and sing to us. And that's a clue.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a clue. I'm trying to get the second one on right now. Anyway, so I like this beer. I'm not an IPA guy, and I'm not going to sit here and do my whole shtick about it. But I think having a lot of tasty beers before.
It tastes very much like a tasty beer, right?
Yeah, this is it's like 80% right there, man. Maybe even 90. It's very, very close. It's a very sweet tribute, and I think it's very nice of you guys to do that.
Thank you very much. He was a good man, and Jamil was a lot. You guys were a lot closer to him than I was. I've met him at a bunch of beer fests and through Chris at Berryessa and whatnot, and he was always really, really kind. The first time I met him, actually, I should tell you a funny story. I was serving at the opening gala in San Francisco for Berryessa. And so we're outside, and Tasty comes up, and he was offering us cookies. So mind you,
you know how many stories start this way?
Well,
I love it.
Let's just say that I can't accept his cookies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and so Chris at Berryessa thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and he was egging him on to give me cookies, and I was like, no, I'm good, thanks, I'm good. And then it wasn't until several years later where I got to know him much better. I was like, hey, by the way, I'm a cop. So
you're under arrest.
Yeah, right. He was looking at 3 to 5. So instead we made his beer. So
he never gave me a cookie. He was just like, no, you don't need it.
You're kind of an asshole, so that's that.
Well, there you go. That was probably it.
It was interesting. Now we're just on a tangent. Wait, I don't want to launch this meeting. Get out of here, dude. It is interesting because he would sort of do that, Jamil, where if he didn't think that you could see, I just joined on accident. Sorry. Oops.
If he didn't think I could handle it, he wouldn't give me the cookie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, exactly. If you weren't that person, if you didn't seem like that dude, you'd be like, no. And it's not because he was a dick. I mean, we all are, but it was because he just didn't think that you were the guy to handle his his shake. You know what I'm trying to say?
But what's funny is I was hanging out with Chris Miller, looking like this. He still offered me weed.
You were standing around Chris. Which,
Yeah, I mean, like, clearly there's a cloud surrounding Chris. So
I'm just saying.
All right, we got one more beer. What do you want to do, Jason? Pastry beer?
You want to go something big, or do you want to do like a lager? Because
it's up.
Your call.
It's up. Well, it's up to you, right? I don't
sell
really
all
care.
These beers, so
okay. Well, let's
do. Come and buy them.
Let's
the
do
quad's
some.
brand new. It's delicious. Just came out last week. But the Snakes and Sparklers is American lager. It's crisp. I sell a ton of that beer. We make micheladas. So my wife makes a michelada mix for the Snakes and Sparklers, and we sell micheladas as well. It's really
Damn.
Oh, yum.
You should pick the one that you would like best.
Well, I'm going to pick the one that I won't finish now, and I'll save the one that I like best for when I can drink the whole thing.
Okay, so open the quad because you're not a big beer guy, right?
Quad. No, I'm not a big beer guy. I was going to do the peanut butter one.
Okay, go for it.
Let's do that one. Let's do that one because I want to talk
dessert?
about it.
So the peanut butter beer is called Nut Punch, which is
not a bad name compared to all the rest of your names.
Well, I was going to say, did Jamil think of that one? That's a Jamil
after
name.
Like we got shut down again, so I called it Nut Punch. And I designed it to taste like Nutter Butter cookies, which is my favorite cookie, and it smells and tastes like Nutter Butter. Exactly. But it's a beer.
Yeah. But like Nut Punch, like somebody's going to be like, oh, you know what I really want is a nut punch.
What's the best is when they come up to the bar and they order, can I have a nut punch?
Oh man.
Sure.
Be like, yeah, here you go. Got one of those like fists that has a little accordion.
We should install those under the bar, right? So,
you really should. It's like that it's like that episode of Supernatural, if anyone ever seen it, when they were on the Japanese game show. And they would have to answer a question right or wrong, and they get it wrong. They would this thing would come up and slam them in the nuts, and that's what I envision right now.
Nothing funnier than a nut punch if it isn't you.
It really is, and even then, it's sometimes kind of funny.
Awesome.
One of the things I want to point out is every time I type in my messaging app on my phone, "true," the next word that comes up is symmetry. That's how close you and I are.
Well done, sir. Well done.
We're linked at the nut punch. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that, man.
Yeah.
Well, this smells crazy, man. It smells like just dry peanuts. Not like creamy peanut butter can sort of smell sweet. It doesn't really smell sweet like that. It smells like just like dry roasted peanuts.
You want some cream in your nuts.
Well, whether or not I want them, it's there.
It has some lactose in it. Hopefully, you're not lactose intolerant.
He's intolerant of everything.
I'm intolerant. I don't think I've had a Nutter Butter.
He has a big sip.
I don't think I've ever had a Nutter Butter. This is interesting. This is
best cookie ever.
Okay, this is an interesting beer, and I don't like it for one reason.
Sweet.
Because it's confusing as hell. It's like those cakes that look like a fucking shoe, but it's like it's a cake. You know what I mean? It's like that.
I'll take that.
Yeah, where it's like
that.
I'm expecting this because look at this color. It's amber. It's almost like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It's almost like a dark pale ale, right? Which you don't think that a pastry beer. And immediately in my head, I thought it was going to be a stout for some reason because all of these things are. You don't think that's going to be any peanut butter or whatever. But it's malty. And then there's this like divide to like peanut butter. And then I'm trying to find the connection to a cookie, but what I like about the beer is, for me, it doesn't start tasting like a cookie, like buttery and whatever, until about 10 seconds after I've swallowed it. And I've never had a beer like that, where it's either you drink it, it's like, well, this is what it is, but this beer sort of puts itself together on your palate after you've swallowed the beer.
So even with like a beer like this, for me, a beer should taste like beer first. First and foremost, it should be a beer. And then you do what you do to it to make the other flavors happen.
Yeah. Yeah. This is weird. So how do you add the peanut butter?
So with much research, so I did some stuff with that PB2, the powder, and we did all kinds of stuff, and peanut butter and natural peanut butter. And I found a company that does like this really, really, they do several, but it's actually an extract. But it's from peanut butter that they extract, and it is soluble and it soaks in just right. And then we did a bunch of trials to get it right. Actually, he came over and got a bunch of the other ones and worked on. Do you guys put something out yet with that, Jamil?
No.
So there's like a bunch of them. So I got this is the one that I really liked, and I thought it tasted most like real peanuts and like real peanut butter. And I could put it in the beer with some lactose to give it a little bit of back flavor behind it to give it that creaminess. But if you're not a Nutter Butter guy, if you eat Nutter Butter cookies, which is, I love Nutter Butter cookies, that tastes like it and smells like it.
If you don't want a nutter in your beer,
not right now.
I mean, it doesn't taste like peanut butter. It doesn't smell like peanut butter. It smells like peanuts.
Right.
Which
is like the cookie. If you go buy those cookies,
I will. I'm going to buy them. I'll put them on my list, man. I'm going to buy them, and then
all artificial, nothing natural.
Nothing natural. No. George Washington Carver would be pissed off.
No, he would hate me.
Yeah, he'd be 101. That's so okay. What does this beer sell like? Do people like this kind of thing? Because to me, it seems a little shticky.
It's not as fast as like a hazy IPA or anything.
Sure.
But it pushes well.
Okay.
And we have a chocolate porter that we have on, so we'll mix it with that and kind of do like a Reese's kind of vibe.
You should put hazelnut
like that as well.
You should put hazelnut in the chocolate porter.
Ooh,
that's a good
idea.
Right?
I've never heard of anyone doing that. I'm going to do that.
Look, I'm telling you, I know how to name beers and I know how to put ingredients in them. Yeah. So you
I'm
combine the two.
California Highway Patrol. I'm going to call it that too.
Do you do like a black and tan with these? With this and the chocolate porter?
The gravities are pretty similar, so that doesn't really mix well with those two. But because it's only a 6.3 beer, I think, right?
Yeah. Do you serve Nutter Butters alongside of this? Do you sell Nutter Butters at the tap room?
There's your Valentine's Day pairing: Nutter Butter cookies, a nut punch.
Yeah.
Did you really ask him what the ABV was of your own beer?
I think it's 6.3. He's got the can in front of him. I don't have the can in front of him.
Yeah. So he would know, and you wouldn't.
He's just trying to
rip through so many cans. I don't have it in front of me.
He's just trying to trick.
JP, is it on the can?
Yeah, it's on the can. It's 6.3. He's trying to do the cop thing. He's trying to trip me up.
He's being bad cop. He's bad cop. You're
so,
bad cop.
You were at the Walgreens, were you not? I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
I think Jamila is bad cop.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
good
He's
cop,
bad cop.
and Jamila's bad cop.
Jamil's the bad lieutenant.
The nuts.
No.
Pretty much every time we're together and talk about our beers. Yeah.
Classic shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, king shit right here.
We have a lot of fun.
Well, I like it, man. I think it's very and I said it was kitschy, and I didn't mean it as an insult. It is very like niche and whatever, but I think it's cool that there's still some room for this. First of all, that it's not a pastry stout. That seemed to be like all anybody ever could put into anything. It was like, well, let's make a stout and put all this crap in it. But I like that people are bold enough to try something like that. Do you guys explain it before they order it? Like, hey, this is a peanut butter like thing, or do they just go, oh, whatever?
We'll give people a taste before they commit to a pint.
Okay. All right.
Well, and people should understand when they go to True Symmetry, there's quality beer being, curated there. They're producing great beer, and if you're going to come in and have a pint, you should just order and enjoy. And well, you can't now because everything's closed down.
Yeah.
But it's great beer and it's great stuff. And if you don't like it, well then tell your bartender you don't like it, and they'll give you something else. It may not be your style, but it's all well made. I think there are a number of places where you go and pretty much everything is crap because they don't know how to make beer. And then there's places you can go where everything's great, and maybe you don't like that style, that's fine.
Right.
But everything's great. So just order and, belly on up to the bar. And I think True Symmetry is one of those places. So it's the reason why I go there and drink, and why I bring, people who come and visit Heretic, once they finished getting drunk off their ass at my place, once they're totally drunk,
right?
And see, always has to spin. It's always a spin.
And it's a lot like, if you have good wine and bad wine, you open the good bottle first, you taste that, and then you open the $2 chuck.
True Symmetry.
Right. So True Symmetry is the $2
like the
chuck.
Fluffer for Heretic is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks. That's a question mark.
Once I don't want to force, good beer down their drunken beer holes.
Yeah.
I take
Look, Jason, at our age, all we have to do is be lucky we're involved. Okay.
Indeed.
It's really just kind of, how it goes. Jason from True Symmetry, thanks, man. I really appreciate you sending beer to Bev. And, Bev was my mule. She drove it over here. So I appreciate it. Where can people learn more about your brewery, man?
So truesymmetry.beer is our website, or we're on Instagram and Facebook at True Symmetry Brewing. Check us out. Come have some beers. Come hang out. We're a local spot. Just trying to make good beer for good people.
Yeah.
I thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And then, Jamil, it's hereticbrewing.com to sign up for the Evil
3, yes.
Evil 3 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, I just got mine during the break.
Oh, really?
And our triple IPA is coming out almost the same time our triple IPA.
Oh,
with a great beer name, our triple IPA.
What's it called?
Oh, you ready for this?
Yes.
Yes.
Lop Sop Doi.
That's a quality name, right?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's from Dude, Where's My Car? When they get their extra special suits, and the guy says, "You guys were really Lop Sop Doi last night." It's Cantonese. It means wasted.
Ah.
For all of you beer lovers.
Bravo.
So this is the third year we've done it. We dry it out real nice. It finishes perfect. This year it's Citra, Simcoe, and Strata.
Wow.
Tons of hops, and I dry hopped it 3 days ago. It'll be out in roughly maybe a week after them, but in the same time frame.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, looking forward to it.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, guys.
I appreciate it. Right now we have two special guests, and you guys are more than welcome to stay on or not, but I think...
Sure.
Let me see. I got to move my mouse. I'm on two computer screens, and it's hard to move my mouse. There it is. All right. Mystery guests, join and sign in, please.
Oh, my God.
We got Blobber, the world, who looks like a Mountie with the mustache.
I think I saw you at the Capitol thing.
The volume up.
And Andy of Greenbelt. Andy's a Greenbelt Brewers Association.
Andy Wood.
Right, baby.
What's going on, guys?
He's my favorite person ever.
He's my guy.
Hi.
What's happening, guys? I saw you guys in the chat room, and there was a flirtation going on, which is, of course, par for the courts when you guys enter. But
Me and Andy are both dying of COVID.
oh no,
Oh.
Wait, you guys
It's a shame.
Really? You guys both have COVID? Really?
Of the 2 people in my region that have it, I am one of them.
No, you're too fragile.
I do not have COVID, for the record. I do not have COVID. I have a bear hat.
Yeah.
You know. Wow.
Blobber.
For yourself.
You must have got it at work, I guess, Blobs, right? You live out in the middle of nowhere.
No, I don't have COVID.
Oh, okay.
There's no COVID.
You liar.
I'm sorry. I lied.
I thought Canadians are supposed to not lie.
We're polite. I'm sorry I lied.
Yeah, that's in the national anthem, I think. Yeah.
I'm sorry I lied.
Yeah.
This is our national anthem.
I will not lie to thee.
I will not lie again. I'm sorry, that was a lie.
Wow.
Good to see you guys.
I gotta say, it's good to see you guys and Random Brewing Company and Teresa, my person. I still have my trophy, by the way. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
You got a trophy.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys all know, but Andy stole my heart. He came to our brewery to do trivia, and he stole my heart. And forever, he now has my heart and our trivia prize. And I'm his biggest fan.
Andy does that. Andy has a collection of hearts. Like some people collect bugs or butterflies. Andy does it with hearts and feelings.
Yeah. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, many.
How I roll. We have many hearts, but we're here to explore some singing, and I know Blubber wanted to do a duet, so I thought I'd pick the most apropos song that I could think of, which is a classic. I think it was recorded by Lil Johnson, March 4th, 1936 in Chicago, where the Bears played there. That the deep dish, that those guys out there. So I don't know. I mean, anytime you sing on Zoom, it always comes out perfectly.
Yes.
And this has been a tribute, to today's show. So, ready, Blobber?
No, because when you're singing, I cut you off, and then you cut me off. So it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So
it would have been terrible anyways. So.
Is it perfect?
Yeah. Hey, Jamil.
Okay.
Okay, and a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3. Selling nuts. Hot nuts. Anybody here wanna buy my nuts? I mean nuts. Hot nuts. I've got nuts for sale. Selling 1 for 5 and 5 for 10. If you buy them once, you'll buy them again. Selling nuts. Hot nuts. You buy them from the peanut man. I'm selling nuts. Hot nuts. Anybody here wanna buy my nuts? I mean nuts. Hot nuts. I got nuts for sale. They'll tell me your nuts is mighty fine, but I bet your nuts isn't hard as mine. Silly nuts. Hot nuts. You buy them from the peanut man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
The weird thing is that Andy needed to have a guide to the lyrics for that. He had to read that entire thing.
Is that obvious that I was looking at?
I think you were perfect. You knew hot nuts.
It's true.
Sure.
Sure.
It's a song I listen to every night before I go to bed.
Andy, you could have memorized.
Yeah, it's those subliminal message tapes where you learn shit while you sleep. Yeah, it's that. But it's just that song on repeat.
You should know.
I mean, we've been rehearsing this for months, Jamil, and I think you know how I am as a professional. I prefer to rehearse so I know every beat.
So why were you reading that the entire time?
Yeah. That's it. That was part of the rehearsal.
That gives it that like live show feeling.
Yeah, well, that's part of his act. Yeah.
During rehearsal, you were reading the lyrics, and so during performance, I see. Excuse me.
You get it. I mean, it's been
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now.
Yeah. Well, you should be.
I understand. I appreciate your humility, and even the best part of this whole thing is that my phone is on 5% power, so at any time I could just disappear.
Well, that could be said for anybody, any of us.
Your artistic approach to this, nailed it.
Yeah,
you're in character, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Well,
as you know, I am a professional.
Yeah,
I'm an educator. And what I like to do is provide a link to the past that is connecting to Dr. King's Day, which we are all celebrating.
Of course.
And, for me, it's my way of putting that out there, both sides coming together.
Well, the weird thing for me is that, Blobber, you look the most Canadian you have ever looked in your life.
I look what?
The most Canadian.
The most
Canadian. Oh.
You look very Canadian.
Well, I'm extra zoomed, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Extreme close up.
Instead of looking meth addict, you look far more Canadian now.
It is the mustache.
No.
Yeah.
It's filled out.
Just come up with a beer name, Canadian Meth Addict.
Hey.
Just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
What about Canadian mustache?
Canadian mustache is pretty good.
Yeah. See, I think that would actually be a good beer name instead of Canadian.
Probably easier to sell with the
I think it sounds to me Canadian mustache sounds more like a category than a beer name, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Andy, in one. He got it.
Like Casey.
All I got.
Extra.
That's all I got.
Apologetical.
That's right. Yeah. Extra apologetic. I'm sorry. I don't know.
I'm sorry. That was
terrible.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. You hand the beer over. I don't know. I can't.
With Blobber, it said he looks like it's video from the 70s. Does it not?
Yeah, it is, because it is zoomed in. It's the quality is also a little bit maybe a little fuzzy. It's not as high def as Andy's, right? And it's
like everything was fuzzy. Everything was fuzzy in the 70s. Come on.
It's the color temperature. It's very flesh colored. Now I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty for a short Canadian for some reason.
I'm sorry.
He's trying to tell you just how handsome you are. That's why he's so thirsty.
The 70s with the
My robe.
Okay.
Blobber does have a certain aesthetic going on. That is for sure.
Looks like you're rolling with your homies. It has a word. Oh, black and white.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I can't do any of that stuff. My phone's about to die.
What else looks like they're in reality?
Zoom.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, Teresa, I love you so much and I miss you. And Jamil, what can I say? You're the best ball buster in the business. And go Greenbelt. Jason, I mean, those from the old days. And JP, the other things that, people say that are nice.
Yeah. Well, feelings to you.
Feelings to you, my good sir. As it goes.
Yes. Go shave Kim's head for me, please.
Okay, I'm going to go shave Kim's head real quick, and I'll see you guys on the flip side, if you know what I mean. Thanks for letting me be part of the show. Great show, by the way.
Of course.
And good luck on those beer names.
Thanks.
Cheers. That's what I do.
Cheers.
Right,
I got to shave my head off.
Do it.
Too much.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. All right. Cheers, you guys. Bye, Teresa.
Just leave it connected. Put your phone down and walk away.
Hi, Andy. Love you.
Love you.
All right.
All right.
Hi, Blobber.
I guess
you're out too. All right. Well, hey man, it's good to see you, dude.
It's only 10 here, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna wrap it up anyway, so.
Wait, is it later or earlier? I think it's earlier for you guys.
It's earlier for us. It's 6:51.
2 a.m. right now.
2 a.m.
Yeah. We're actually still in the year 2020. So that's how far back we actually are. Yeah. I know it sucks. How is it out there?
All right, guys.
All right, Blobber.
Well, nice seeing you guys.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Oh,
bye, Blobber.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here too. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And until next time, be good to each other. And we'll see you. I think actually this coming Monday, the next show. I want to say here. Let me check my calendar real fast because I think we have Dave Marliave, formerly of Flat Tail. I don't really know. Also with New Spring, he has a whole thing. Dave has a whole thing going on. I don't know what it is. He's launching a new beer brand. He's also doing some other stuff, and he's like a third thing going on. So we're going to catch up with Dave this coming Monday, the 25th, 5 p.m. Check it out. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you later.
JP's an asshole. nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his cherry.